Greetings, everyone. I'm not going to begin just yet. I just wanted to take some time and give a little bit more of an audience to gather. I wanted to open up with a crown chakra tone that will help to open up the parts of your mind, the crown chakra that can take in the information that I am about to give. So just listen. Okay, hopefully that helped you. All right. So this is not going to be a normal video of mine. This is one that I think it is a telling of the times that we are in. It is a look at the placement of humanity and where we are heading. Let me first start off with some of you interested in contacting the Pleiadians. That seems to be the main questions that I get whenever I do give a Pleiadian message video. And I don't want to keep this ability or this information to myself. I am a light worker in service for the collective. I have put myself in that role. I have chosen that before space-time in order to experience myself in this way. And many others are also on that path. So this is information that I need to give. And as an astral empath, my particular gifts and abilities is that I am a medium for a collective, a larger collective than humanity, a higher collective than humanity in terms of consciousness levels. And I can channel that information to give to humanity. That is my special abilities. That's kind of what I was born, and that's the role that I have. So what this means is that why I make these videos in a sudden flash like this, to just join me and pop on, these videos are not planned. What happens is I can go about my day thinking that I'm not going to do a video, and all of a sudden I will get a surge of energy, of thoughts, of visions, a message that comes in a more emotional way. I don't know if any of you have seen the movie Arrival, but the way that communication is conveyed in that movie is really kind of how I experience aliens or our star family. I get images that are connected to emotions, and they're connected to visions and dreams. And then I get kind of urges of how to put it out there for humanity to take in the information. I've been a teacher for a few years, and I've studied education, got my master's in education. So I have the tools and the experience to know how to reach others. And I believe that's why the Pleiadians do work with me. I also do think that it is part of my volunteer mission and my identity as a starseed. So there is nothing special about channeling, or there is not something special about me or those that have this gift or this ability. It is simply a role or a piece of the consciousness that we represent within the prime source. We are here as a mouthpiece in order to help others and to give messages that will help awaken them. So with that being said, there are a couple layers that I do want to unravel first, because many people want to connect with the Pleiadians. I know and can sense the energies in the world, and I will do another video about this, that there are many light workers, earth angels, souls with good intentions in order to bring forth a change in the world in a positive way. They really are tired of the old ways and they want to see the new world. They want to see that new earth that is within their mind and within their hearts and their dreams. And I can feel that their energy, along with some of the thoughts that I've had too, and I have observed this in others, and I have communicated with others that feel the same way. But many are asking themselves, when do I get off this planet? Or when do I have contact with higher beings, because those around me do not represent the consciousness that I live in? And that is hard. We ask ourselves many times, why did I sign up for this life on Earth? And why do I want to even be on Earth? And this brings in thoughts of suicidal in a more conscious and aware way, where you want to kind of leave from Earth because you feel that the consciousness levels of the majority of the masses are not representing you, or you're not being understood by others, and that there's this experience of feeling different and feeling quite alone. So I know that many people are looking for the Pleiadians right now, or looking for other aliens. All that I talk about today in this video will surely give you tools and ideas in order to contact other aliens that you believe that you are connected to and that you are destined to reach out to. So, like I do in other videos, I like to bring and gather very wise, highly advanced and consciousness other human souls that have been on Earth and have left us messages, or are still on Earth, but they are part of this collective project, basically, to see humans evolve and to see the next phase and the next stage of our evolutions, so that we can move past shooting each other with guns, hitting each other with rocks and sticks. This is the destiny that we are entering into, is to become truly wiser, intelligent beings that unlock capabilities and psychic potentials within ourselves that we can only really imagine and we aspire to right now. But when we look around the world, we might not see it yet. And that is because we are in the budding stages. We have done this together many, many lifetimes, many universes. We have always been together. And we are experiencing a sort of crossroads. And that's what many of you might feel, like a pull within yourself. And you're trying to kind of stay on Earth, but at the same time, you're also trying to leave. And that electromagnetism pull within yourself is telling you that you're ready for a higher dimension. You're ready for that experience. And I made that other video the other day about the fifth dimension, seeing the fifth dimension, because part of it is about taking in the ideas of the fifth dimension and really harnessing them and embracing them in terms of space travel and time travel. In order to do that, the Pleiadians have suggested within the contact reports that you need a sense of timelessness and a spacelessness, that scientists who are trying to discover how to, time travel and things like that, well, they have to also come from it at a place of spiritual consciousness and manifesting the scientific invention to manifest themselves as spaceless, or whoever enters into the time machine, that it brings that consciousness of spacelessness and timelessness to the individual. So there are many more steps to go before we enter into this phase of science and technology that can really take Earth to the next level, to the level of where we imagine and get downloads about where the Pleiadians are and what they represent with their ancient civilization and what other aliens represent as well. So with that being said, I want to draw a connection with Carl Sagan. Carl Sagan is a soul that I have observed and have read into his energy, that he is someone that is a light worker indeed, and he was a very big player in our world in terms of trying to unite science and religion and a sense of spirituality, and to show the vastness of space. One of the movies that is very special to me is Contact with Matthew McConaughey, and I think it's Jodie Foster. That movie is so wonderful in terms of, it was originally written by Carl Sagan, and then the director did something completely different from the book, but the idea is pretty much the same. The message is, and I want to read this. This is the main message, and this is what this video is going to be ultimately about. There are cooperative projects between galaxies, she asked. Lots of galaxies, each with a kind of central administration, with hundreds of billions of stars in each galaxy. And then those administrations cooperate to pour millions of suns into Cygnus A. Forgive me, I'm just staggered by the scale. Why would you do all this, whatever for? She asked the Vega alien. You mustn't think of the universe as a wilderness. It hasn't been that for billions of years, he said. Think of it more as cultivated. Again, a tingling Ellie felt. Carl Sagan is giving a message that some people maybe have tapped into, and maybe they haven't, but aliens are a layer connected deeply to us in terms of our higher selves or our future selves. So all aliens in the entire universe are always connected to us. And it is a collective project to watch the universe expand and become cultivated with life forms. And this is how it works on a physical level. Although prime consciousness or creation itself could be merely just consciousness and awareness on its own, there has to be the physical application of creation, and that's where we come in. We are essentially thought forms of prime consciousness, of creation itself. Each of us are a fragment of this prime consciousness and source, and we each have unique vibrations because we represent a particular role, a particular job, a particular duty, a particular part in this story, this collective story. So Pleiadians represent a particular part within this collective story. How to contact the Pleiadians is by tuning into their actual frequency that they are living in terms of their consciousness levels. They will not meet with or connect or communicate with humans that are not yet ready to grow up, that are still holding on to old values or old truths that they wish to believe, such as that produces division and separation within the world, and also anyone that harbors any kind of ill intent toward their fellow beings. They're not interested in dealing with immature souls. They want to connect and communicate to all of humanity, but they are waiting for a particular rise of the human consciousness. Now, while we're all from the same prime source, we all represent different levels of consciousness, and you definitely can see that. It is a prism, and so the white light of the universe gets refracted into many colors. And those many colors can represent different levels of consciousness that represent the different levels of chakras, the 7 levels of chakras. And you can see that around your world. You can see those who operate mostly in the majority of the red level chakra, the root survival level, survival of the fittest, survival to just survive. And you can also see those that represent those who live in the violet chakras, the ones that are in divine love with everything and in oneness with everything. You can see all the different souls representing different colors and spectrums of light and consciousness within. So the Pleiadians are really interested in actually coming into full contact with humanity when they all reach an equilibrium of higher intellect and consciousness, and that time is actually occurring. We are in the very beginning stages of it. We are really moving past some of the old ways of doing things. There's more of an expansiveness with the human consciousness and personality that can actually contain the Pleiadian consciousness within this collective. Now, one of the main things to remember is that Sammy said a very important thing, and many people think that Billy Meyer may have not been telling the truth, but let me tell you, as an astral empath, reading the energies of these words, Billy might have had some kind of personal filter, but this is coming from a consciousness that experiences the 11th dimensions of reality in terms of seeing all the different layers and the connections between all different beings of the universe. Billy meets Sammy in this one, 1975, January 28th. And he meets her, and she just says, "You are a fearless human being." And he's like, "Well, I've learned to overcome fear and become objective. I know, we've been studying you for years." Well, that's nice. Why? Because because through you, we want to clarify some things. Isn't anyone else suited for that purpose? Certainly, but we've kept an eye on you because you have been preoccupied with those problems for thousands of years within other personalities, and because you think and act in a real and honest way, and because you have already frequently carried out such a mission in your former lives, even though for us, great mysteries surround this fact. Oh, thanks for the compliments or flowers. Do not mention it, because you have earned it on your own merit. Well, fine, but who are you really? And then Sammy says the biggest message to take from this whole thing. Just call me do. It's the informal German word for you, as I also do with you. Right there is how you contact and make communication or make contact with the Pleiadians, because they are interested in helping to pass on information and clarify things. They are specializing. They are the block from the prime consciousness that is specializing in human spiritual development. And that is what Pleiadians represent within the collective. So they are interested in meeting with anyone that is open to receiving that information of spiritual development for themselves, as well as to pass on and share that information in the world in order to help all of humanity evolve together and reach a level of spiritual development within, so that we have the present and the future timelines align. And that's what you can think of energetically. That's why the Pleiadians are involved with the collective. So they will work through anyone who is interested in being a medium for them. The reason why they're using mediums and they're not coming on to, live channels, although I believe that I'm more Pleiadian than human in terms of that's my identity, but at the same time, I am not purely a Pleiadian. That is, maybe I am, I don't know. But I believe that some of them are not going to come out into the open because there is still a lot of fear about aliens in general. And that is mainly surrounded by religious beliefs, because Pleiadians would be and have been announced as demons or devils. Anything outside of what they view as the creation of the Abrahamic God would be persecuted. So they cannot fully reveal themselves as truly who they are, not entirely, until we move into the next phase of humanity, which doesn't persecute against beings that might be a little different than humans, but are still humanoids and are our ancestors or are deeply connected to us. But they are interested in communicating and getting in touch with anyone that is, and I'll read it right there. Why did they choose Billy? Because he has been preoccupied with problems for thousands of years within other personalities, and because you think and act in a real and honest way. Right there. Billy and all messengers, and even myself, we preoccupy ourselves. The majority of our life is experienced with asking the questions, how can humanity get better? What more can we do? How can we stop the suffering? How can we move past this? How can we make people fall in love with themselves and with the universe? These are the questions that arise within all messengers, true messengers that are really about servicing the collective rather than getting fame or glory. And the Pleiadians definitely discern between frauds and those that say they channel Pleiadians. But what it comes down to is an act of true service to the collective. If any one of you, Rain, Arlene, all of you, yes, very good. All of you right now that I see, all of you that joined on, Lavender Wolf, all of you, Curtis, Nickley, Steve, Sullivan, Moldavite, Akashic Waters, all of you, Lady Ravenhill, Sean McKenzie, I'm getting teary-eyed right now, seeing all of you. If all of you want to help humanity more, you will be given the tools, the psychic tools, the ability, the confidence, the energetic push, and you will feel it on an energetic level within your body. You'll feel like electromagnetism to push you towards creating some kind of project or message, or you will feel this. You'll start to create a YouTube channel. Isn't it funny that we call it a channel? It's channeling information for the world. That's why I made my YouTube channel. Channel. And you can channel other higher sources of information. And this is what they are most interested in, is reaching out to you souls that are honest, that are pure in your intention, and you want to see, and you want to make, and you want to be part of the collective project of the galaxies around us in order to make humanity a better species, one that thrives, one that grows and does not destroy themselves over bitter arguments and the inability to see the spiritual truths of interconnection and unity to all. You all have this ability, and all you have to do is come with an open heart a pure mind to help humanity. And they are right now with me, right now, energetically, psychically. They are underneath the earth. They are also in hidden communities around the world. And what they do is they transfer thoughts and visions to you, and they will use you in a way that's a mutual using, because you want to make the world better. You want to help humanity, and you want to see us move into a future beautiful civilization and a galactic world that does meet our fellow neighbors in other distant galaxies and other dimensions of space. I know that that's many of your thoughts. That's why sci-fi movies are something that I find myself looking for. All sci-fi movies. I've watched every sci-fi movie. I know many of you look to the stars. You are waiting for that. You want to experience that. And I'm telling you, you will. You absolutely will. And these are some of the questions that people have asked me, and they are with me right now. They have supported me in this journey, and they are ready to answer these questions through me. So I'm going to answer some of these questions in regards directly to the Pleiadians, and a little bit about how to contact them and communicate with them. Okay, so questions to answer. One of the ones that many people ask is, what are the Pleiadians? You know, just a very general question that many humans who might have not been a seeker in this way, they come across the name and they're like, what is that? The Pleiadians are humanoid beings that live in another dimension, in a higher dimension around the Pleiades. They are part of helping to facilitate humanity's growth. They are part of humanity's ancestry. Their ancestors that lived around the Lyra constellation, and still do in a form, and the Vega, which is interesting because contact is all about Vega. It's all about meeting Vega aliens, which are more aquatic beings around Vega. They are a aspect of the higher selves of humanity, but they are also very separate as their own individual entities, and they represent another experience within the prime source. So they have their own civilizations, and they experience their lives. And many of you have had past life experiences around the Pleiades, and you have been part of the council, you have been a teacher there, you've been other things within their civilization. And many have decided to volunteer for this galactic project of cultivation of life forms. So many of you are volunteer souls in that way. And there's not just 144,000. And in some way, all of humanity has that potential, because it is about the 11 dimensions that reside within yourself, within your soul, and within the prime source. I don't know if many of you can contemplate the 11 dimensions, but if you read more about it, you'll understand. We are now in the 5th dimension. So if you can imagine the 11th dimension, that is where creation brings all this into matter and manifestation. And that is a dimension within ourselves, because we are multi-dimensional beings. So Pleiadians, what are they, is a layered question. But as Semyase said, she said, call me Do, because I have to do with you. And she said that to Billy. Billy is not schizophrenic, where he is able to split his personality and do that and talk to himself. But in some form, that is his multi-dimensional consciousness shining through. But it's also a very separate source of information. And that's what duality is about, is we are one, but we are also the many. So that's why we have what looks like good and evil. That's why we have the fights. That's why we have that. But beyond that duality is a place of equality and complete understanding and understanding and unity. And that sometimes is hard to see, but the more you focus on unity and being a service to Earth, you will be in touch with that higher dimension within yourself. And then you will bring forward that more, and that will be your role on Earth. When is physical contact with the Pleiadians? Physical contact will be when humanity is able to actually harness the frequency of the vibration that the Pleiadians exist in. Everything works on a quantum level, that in order for things to manifest in our reality and physically actually experience and have an eye-to-eye connection, hand-to-hand shaking communication level of aliens, then humanity has to, on a whole global scale, actually has to hold that frequency and harness that frequency that the Pleiadians exist in order to allow them to actually be part of the collective. Because if they come too early, it will be a disaster. It will be an experience that many people will not be ready for. And they are slowly making their presence known. And in the movie of Contact, my thumbnail, I worked this out, the Vega alien was talking about how, because Ellie, the main character, she asks, well, are there others that are going to make contact with humans and try to meet them? And he shows her grains of sand, and he's like, many others. And the stars that appear in his hand as a message of the next ones to make contact with humanity is the Pleiadians. It's the Pleiades. So that is a message. That's a mirror of our reality of what's actually happening. And that director put that in order to bring forward that message. And that's why I think the movie is very special to people, because there was pure intent to bring forward information to humanity about aliens that Carl Sagan, everyone should probably get this book. It's really interesting because this is some of his deepest thoughts that tell you about where he was in his consciousness and how well he connected to other galaxies and understood what aliens represented. So when is physical contact? When humans are ready. When humans are ready. And that is a serious question being proposed to humanity. Many are not ready yet, but they will be. What is their role and mission on Earth? Their role and mission on Earth is clearly stated within the contact reports. It's clearly within me and other starseeds that feel very connected to them. Their mission on Earth, they are part of the active players in this story to help humanity evolve spiritually. They are not so interested in, they can help with technical type of inventions and technology, because there is messages about that. But what they're most interested in is the spiritual development of humanity. They are interested in bringing humans into alignment with their more higher spiritual natures. This goes more far beyond just doing good deeds and being a good person, but this is actually about embracing a universal consciousness that can connect to other galaxies on a very deep spiritual level, and can embrace and can show the budding seed of the 11th dimension consciousness reality within human beings. Their role is spiritual development. Star seeds that are part of the Pleiades, they will be pulled into spiritual teaching, guide work, just helping humanity really get in touch with the love within themselves, the love all around, the universal truths that cannot be refuted, in terms of what is known throughout the universe, in terms of an energetic state of things. They're going to offer more information as the years go on, and they'll be part more of bringing visions and bringing messages. And so that is their main goal, is spiritual development, which is interesting because they are interested in helping people alleviate themselves from the sectarianism of religion. So even though they're highly spiritual, they are not religious. That's a term that people have been using in the New Age, and it is something that has been inspired by the Pleiadians themselves in many ways, in dreams and in visions and inside of your own hearts. There's something very beautiful that is wanting to happen to humanity when humanity gets rid of the sectarianism of religion. And if you actually look up the definition of sectarianism, it embraces the idea of racism, division, and separation through the thoughts of religion, in terms of seeing each other and your fellow beings as those that are not part of the same path towards the destination of all of humanity evolving and the universe expanding in a project of all galaxies working together to cultivate this universe with life. So they are not interested in making humans atheists. They are not interested in making people spiritless. They are interested in making humans truly spiritual beings. And they are. But within this material world and the constructs of society, and the other players that have played a part of being the oppressors and the influencers in the negative aspect to provide that resistance to the spirit, so that we grow from alleviating and liberating ourselves from those oppressive forces, they also have a mission to help liberate humanity from degenerate humanoid species that are far older than humanity and have tried to conquer and dominate other species within the galaxy, and they have nestled in and have made themselves a powerful presence within this world. And this is why things sometimes do not seem so peaceful and blissful in this world. Pleiadians are trying to help humanity liberate themselves from that. So that is all their role and their mission on Earth. How can we connect with them is the main question here. They contacted me because of my intentions, because of who I am in terms of my past life experiences with them, my past life experiences, like I said, multiple personalities that Billy Meyer had, my multiple personalities that I have had in other incarnations have gotten me to this place of mediumship with them. However, that is not something that is only within myself. I did not remember. It's a funny thing about past lives. You don't often remember your past lives until it comes knocking at your door to remind you of something that you might have forgotten, why you're here and what you're supposed to experience. So how I got contacted was I had the pure intention to help humanity. I did not have a YouTube channel. I did not have really anything going for me in terms of getting messages out, but I was somebody that kind of lurked online, and I would offer spiritual advice or guidance to others. I would see people suffering. I would see them in emotional distress, and I was somebody that always offered some kind of help, just to let them know that they're not alone, and that the feelings that I have within me in terms of all the wisdom that I have gathered in terms of understanding that the prime source and the energy of love is the most powerful source and force in the universe, that is what I can offer others. And that's what I have done. So I spent many years doing that, and I was a seeker, and I started getting more into my starseed identity, and I had a wonderful yoga session, and then I meditated directly afterwards, and that's when I started to receive messages. I actually got clear visions of Pleiadian beings, and I started to astral travel, and that opened up the gateway to all of this. They like they did with Billy, they were watching him for many years. They were watching me for many years. And I'm also a starseed, so I was planted here. I'm a sleeper cell in some kind of way, and many of you are. And so many of the starseeds are activating themselves and awakening themselves to this ability. So that is how I connected. They actually contacted me through my intentions. And then when I entered into a meditative state, I was open to receiving the information from them. So the clear message that I get is that you need to find yourself in a place that's quiet. You can go into nature, you can sit by yourself, and what they want you to do is they want you to think about all of the love that you have for Earth and for humans, your fellow beings, and all of those that you see suffering, and you want them to evolve, or you want them to get a better life, and you want to help liberate them too from the oppressive forces in this world. They want you to contemplate on your own in a self-reflective state about wanting to help humanity, and they will be in touch. They will be in touch. You'll get visions. You'll have dreams about them. Some of you are already doing it. So this is for those that are starting out and wanting to communicate more with the Pleiadians. It is about your frequency and vibration that you hold inside. And your frequency and your vibration that you hold inside is your intentions. It is your focus. It is your drive. So if your drive on Earth is not to just make a lot of money, die, have kids, or have kids and then die, and your focus on Earth is actually how do we make sure and reinforce the idea that humanity will survive, and not only survive, but thrive to its fullest and become truly wise beings, that they can really represent themselves on Earth in a really positive nature. Sometimes you see comments online like, this is why the aliens don't visit us, when you see some silly, stupid human mistake or behavior, and then people say, well, makes sense, aliens haven't contacted us. Why do people say that? That is a reflection of the truth of reality, that that is them looking at humanity and saying humans are not ready yet to actually hold and carry. Not all humans are ready to hold and carry that high vibrational energy, but they are. They are. We are in exciting times. We truly are. We are in the seed, and it's budding now. It's coming out of the soil, and it's a small, beautiful little bud, and it is going to bloom into a beautiful flower. I promise you that. I feel that as a pull on my soul like you have no idea. And I know it is universal truth. It's coming from the 11th dimension because I am an oracle in that way. I'm a medium to the higher truths. That is my role on earth. And I'm happy to do it. I want to do it. And I'm showing you Earth and humanity, the human species, is going to bloom. We have bloomed together as souls in other universes as other life forms, not human. And we have experienced this, and we are experiencing this once again. We are coming to that time once again. So we have experienced the same thing many, many universes ago. And we are now in that same time. And the future can look a little different. That's the thing about many incarnations and many different universes. That's the thing about infinite consciousness. It keeps on expanding. It keeps on growing on what it knows. So the future will be different because it will contain the information from the old universe that we were part of, and the world, the earth that we created. And now we're going to create a new earth. I hashtag Project Elvenstar in a lot of my things because that truly is my particular focus, is how to make humans get in touch with their elven selves, their higher selves. Many people aspire to the elves like Tolkien wrote about. That is a potential for all humans. That is absolutely the behavior and the mannerisms and the way that the elves live together is absolutely a potential. It is the way that the Pleiadians are. It is absolutely the fullest potential that humans can reach. And they could be and grow to be immortal light beings, just light, floating around on earth, golden and silver light, in the most beautiful display of harmony and oneness with the entire universe, where your mind literally connects to all of the galaxies. That's the human species in the future. That is a vision of a particular path, but we are in a multi-potentiality type of universe in terms of our pathways. So there are many other paths, but I contain the path that sees this particular vision. And that's what my channel is about. That's what I contain. That's what I can help with. But there are other pathways, and the Pleiadians just want to make sure that we don't go into the other pathways that are about the spiritual darkness of humanity. I don't know if you can actually really, I have a hard time thinking about this, because to me it is the saddest, it is the most terrifying vision, is spiritual darkness of humanity. I just want you to think about that for a while. That is what can happen. It is a potential pathway. But if we focus on spiritual evolution, one by one, each of us doing it one at a time, we will not enter that dark path. It will not be part of your experience. It may be part of others who just want to walk down that dark path. Maybe because they don't want to, but maybe they didn't work hard enough to seek for the light within themselves, the truth of unity, the truth of love. So what will happen with alien contact in the future? I already gave that away in terms of the more and more that humans reach a state of evolution, the more kinder they are to each other, the more wiser they are in terms of gathering information and synthesizing it in terms of making it new, making new things and new creations from the information that they gather. And also understanding the universal laws of the universe that are observed within nature. Those 3 steps are important for humanity. That will ensure physical contact with Pleiadians, where they will come more into view and they will be part of our experience more and more. I can't say for sure how many years this will take, but I do see that it is in the very near future. So many of us will live to see this. And that is the most exciting thing. I have about maybe 40 years left on Earth. If I can live to a old happy age. Sorry, I need to eat some berries. I didn't eat yet. I never can eat when I do videos. It's so silly. It's like I need just like an empty stomach with all the energy. But what advice to give to humans? The Pleiadians are going to speak through me. They have been with me. I feel them all around. But what advice they want to give to humans is this. Sorry, tearing up a little bit. Being in contact with their energy is so beautiful to me because it's very familiar. It's very loving. They really love humanity. It's part of them. What advice can I give? Believe in yourself. Believe fully that this is happening, that this is truly transforming years, and every single one of the souls on earth, from the homeless person asking for money, from the criminal in jail sitting on a bed asking themselves why they did what they did, from the Queen of England, from all of the souls on earth, all their star heritages are coming forwards now, because this is a great time of aligning with all the other galactic partners in this project. Believe that this is happening to you, that life and the universe is far vast than you might have been taught to think about. And also, it is very difficult in the dimension that we have had Earth begin in the 3D. But we have moved from the 3D to the 4th, through space-time, opening our hearts into the 5th. And they are truly wanting every single soul to realize how precious and a special part of this galactic project that they are. And as humans do that, they will get rid of petty emotions that hinder them in this growth, such as envy, jealousy, wrath, greed. The nature of those emotions is what keeps the consciousness down, thinking that they lack so much, but yet they're so vast. Each consciousness is a universe itself. They want all humans to see that, to allow themselves to leave some of the old traditions and old ways of thinking about separation from one another and embrace togetherness. Embrace that sense of unity that the age of Aquarius has been talking about. As humans do that, they will move further and further up into the reaches of space, not only to connect with other life forms and to know finally that they're not alone, but to understand that the universe is for each of you. The universe is for each of you. All of its beauty, all of its vastness, all of its stars, all of it is for you. The Pleiadians are not crying. I am. Because I am an extremely emotional being in touch with their energy of love. They are they're good. They're good. They're very stoic. But wow, did that touch me? This universe is for each of you hurting. This universe is for each of the child that is abused. This universe is for each of the homeless person struggling to survive. This universe is for everybody on earth. For all souls. You can't imagine this energy of love. Wow. It's for each of you. It's for each of you. Wow. It's for you, Dylan. It's for you, Roxanne. The universe is for you. Yes, very good. The universe is for you, Queen of Red. The universe is for you, Cynthia Moore. The universe is for you. All those stars. It's all for you. Wow. They are in... So what's frustrating for me as a starseed is that level of love, that benevolence is not demonstrated in the majority of human beings. It makes me want to leave. I want to be around other beings that are so full of love. They don't harm others. They just, nothing about them wants to harm others, but they have fun. Oh, they have fun. Oh, the Pleiadians, they tell me, you can't imagine the fun that You can't imagine the fun that happens once you get over the wars with each other and the division. You can imagine it, but maybe you just have to give yourself some time to imagine the type of fun that exists between souls that live on a world that has no more war, that has no separation of the self. But yet you're so different, you're so unique, you're so diverse, and it is an amazing party. It's beautiful. The Pleiadians, what they used to do, they just have so many celebrations, so many parties. It's like the elves of Tolkien. I mean, they just congregate with each other and enjoy each other's spirit and soul, like Jason. Absolutely. Like, you say this is so beautiful. It is. And Jason, I see your soul as so beautiful for recognizing the beauty within this message. That is the level of experience that humanity can experience with each other. And we have experienced this before. We're just in the growing stages once again. And it is hard. It is hard because light workers are going to experience wanting to be with them, but you have things to do on Earth. You cannot leave. You are here. We are all here for a very special part in this and a mission. That's why suicide is frowned against in terms of completing a desired mission, a desired goal to make the universe expand as a collective force. I cannot. Oh, I cannot wait for the future. I am so excited for humanity. I am so excited. We have done this before. We have done this before together. You have no idea what is in store. Oh my gosh. It is just going to be, I mean, people make fun of hippies and the love that they feel together, but that's a sliver of that type of experience that higher terrestrial beings experience together in their world without wars amongst each other. Now, they still might be warring with others that want to invade their planet, because different planets and galaxies contain all different levels of consciousness and awareness. And there are degenerate life forms as much as there are higher ones. But the thing to remember is that the degenerate life forms are serving a purpose. They're serving a higher goal. And we are in this together. And one day the degenerate life forms will evolve to the higher advanced life forms. But it's all an individual journey. It's a fractal of experience. It's your personal experience in your life with your spouse and your daily run-ins and problems and events and situations. And it's a collective galactic experience together. It is the most amazing reality of truth. We are in this all together, but the universe is for you each, for us, for me, but we are in this together. It's beautiful. So I hope that helped. What advice to give light workers, volunteer souls, earth angels, advice to give star seeds, I've been asked. I think I gave it already. Hold on. Hang in there. They are with you. They are here. They are within you, and they are absolutely part of this experience with you. And you do not have to leave Earth in order to experience them. In fact, they're here. They're hidden until it's time for them to come more out in the open. The advice is to hold on, to hang in there, to believe, to keep on focusing on your mission, while Terran souls that are not identifying with starseeds or in a consciousness level that is not connected to the galactic forces around the universe in terms of their state of awareness, they are learning how to love themselves. They are learning how to not harm each other. They are awakening in that way. A star seed, however, comes from a consciousness that has already learned those lessons. You need to hold on. As you look around and you see all the harm being done still, it is only in the very beginning stages of growth. Hold on. Don't try to escape. You are an important part of this. The universe is for you as well. And although you serve others, because that's how you are aligned and polarized yourself as a soul, that is what you are here to do. And you cannot really truly leave until you are done. Done in many ways, in terms of leaving from Earth physically, as well as helping souls around you that have entered into your life for a purpose of we all help each other remember and grow. That's how the universe consciousness expands. We help one another. It's not a wilderness of aloneness any longer. We are prime source that fragmented, and now all souls help each other remember to get back to the source that we all originated from. Hold on, light workers. Hold on, earth angels. Hold on, star seeds. Hold on, sensitive souls that feel like Earth is not for them, that they're too sensitive for the cruelty on Earth. Hold on. You're going to see something beautiful unfold and evolve. All you have to do is hold on to that hope and that belief in your heart, and you will truly experience that within your reality. That's how everything works in the universe. I hope this answered some of your questions. I'm going to go to some comments here. Oh, I can't believe I cried all over, but that hit me very strongly. Arlene, are they going to help us end this nightmare? Well, it's a layered answer in terms of it is us right now on Earth that is experiencing this nightmare. And so individually we have to awaken. And so as Carl Jung said, those who reflect and look within start to awaken from the dream. Those that are looking outside too much and not within themselves, they still dream. Individually, souls need to awaken. Collectively, things need to change. And the Pleiadians are absolutely helping. They are working with the government in indirect ways. They are working with kind of in an energetic way, in kind of a background way. They truly are. They're working with building projects of higher consciousness and spiritual development on Earth. They are supporting those that, are trying to reach out to others. They're supporting me. They're supporting us in an indirect way in order to end the nightmare collectively. But to end the nightmare individually, it's about going more within and healing from past experiences and past incarnations, as well as what has ever happened to you before this time right now. ZB David, they cannot interfere with free will as per galactic laws. Yep, you're absolutely correct. Yes, they cannot come in. It's not like the movies, right? They cannot come in with their guns and their lasers. They can't do that. They can't do a takeover. They don't want to scare anyone. The universe is a multi-dimensional reality. So in order for them to exist in our reality, we have to be at their level already. But that's what the law of free will is really about. Those who are not ready and don't call it into their existence will not receive help from them or support. Those that are ready and call it into their existence and make the choice with their free will receive that. And that's the laws of the universe and free will. And even negative entities sometimes have to follow that too, because it's you. It's your permission. It's your allowances of things to take shape. And so it really has a lot to do with that. Arlene, what free will? Who the hell asked for this to happen? You did. On a very deep level, we all did. Arlene, it is about spiritual development and growth. We must have resistance, just as those who weight train. They have to put a lot of weight and a lot of pressure in order to strengthen their spiritual muscles. That's what it's about. This is resistance that the 11th dimension has done. And this has happened countless of times, but we move on and we push through it, and we will be stronger when we go through this. Yes, very good. It's only a nightmare if you see it as a nightmare. It's not just about us. Exactly. It's about personal perspectives. It's about sharing and getting the whole collective to awaken and to move into a shared spiritual experience together. So there are layers, and the 5th dimension incorporates the ability to look into other dimensions. Like the 4th dimension is a cube. So you might be able to see inside of the cube, the wall of the cube, the top of the cube, the bottom of the cube. The 5th dimension is outside of the cube. That means that your perspectives will start to carry the perspectives of others as well as yourself. And that's how to start to get in touch with the higher perspectives of this dimension. Rain, Pleiadian contact and consciousness. Absolutely. Arlene, how else can you look at a disease that can kill you so fast it's killing thousands of people who didn't deserve it? What do you call it? Everybody dies? Death is a cycle. And this is about choices right now. You can look at this as if we are being attacked and that all of humanity is under attack and that this is a depopulation scheme. You absolutely can. You can. And at some level, it is. Or you can look at it as a natural response to the behaviors of humans and the consequences surrounding it. And also, no children die. No healthy immune systems die from this disease. Very, very low numbers. It's all those that are already on their way out of this earth. They're already sick, or they're already very old, and they're ready to pass on. So there are some things that you have to look at the information. What is it about this virus? And that makes it a very strange virus, doesn't it? It's not attacking the children. It's leaving the younger generation. Think about that, Arlene. Rain, our galactic family, yes. Yes, very good. We chose to go through this before we incarnated. We didn't have to be here. Might be tough to hear, read, but it's the truth. Humanity and the planet has to go through it. Life's not meant to be easy. It is a school. It is a beautiful school that at the end of graduation is this party that you cannot imagine, because the party is about experiencing ourselves growing and experiencing and looking back on a species that evolves into a state of no separation, no spiritual separation from each other. Lavender Wolf, I've been waiting for the memory of the right words and music to sing out what needs to be heard. Sit in nature, or contemplate and go within and ask for guidance and support from the Pleiadians. Cry to them, just, plead your case, show them your heart, Show them your mind and your intention to help others, because they are focused on spiritual development. If you are focused on spiritual development and you want to use art to do it, they will help you. Maybe they'll give you some visions or guidance to support you in this endeavor. Lavender Wolf. Many of the Fae I see are underground. They will send you beautiful images for the right side of your brain to receive. I absolutely do feel there is a very deep connection to the Tuatha and all those the she-elves and the fairies that are underground, and the Pleiadians are underground too. So I do feel there is a very strong connection. I agree. And you can, well, that's how fairies work as well, is when you are inviting them into your life and your experience, and you vibrate at a frequency where they understand your pure intent, and they know that you love nature and that you would never, harm intentionally, and that you're at a consciousness level that can actually contain the vibration of fairies, either dark or light fairies, then they will appear, and you'll see them in some way or another, maybe just as light, maybe as little, fading figures, or you'll just feel them in your heart. And I have a video more on how to see fairies and elves, but absolutely. And that's exactly the way Pleiadians work, because this is a quantum field of space. So everything works on frequencies, waves, and vibrations. Tune into the frequency and the vibration that you wish to experience, and you do it through awareness. Queen of Red, hello, I just got here. What Carl Sagan book was she holding just now? Contact. There's a movie, Contact, which I highly recommend, but it's very different from the book. And Carl Sagan gets more detailed. If you want, you could just skip to the end when she actually goes to visit Vega. But I found it on eBay. It's like $4 there, so definitely I recommend it. A voice speaking up. Then how they see Billy? Well, they are visitors from space. So they did contact Billy Meyer in person. I'm not sure what to believe about the ships and the photographs and all that. That's something that I have a very skeptical nature. But at the same time, I know when I see wisdom that comes from a higher state of consciousness, I know that this comes from the 11th dimension. This comes from a source of wanting to help humanity evolve. And this is not a normal consciousness in terms of the information that they give. A normal human consciousness in terms of the information that they give. So that information there was given to Billy in a personal, direct way, but they won't be direct and personal with us. Maybe some of us, but maybe it will just be more on a psychic level. Or maybe some of us are already the Pleiadians, and so it's an answer that you need to find within yourself, and it might take some time. But every answer that you seek, because the universe is for you, is all within yourself. And that's all I can say. Lavender Wolf, some of us have the sight. Yeah, and that's a particular role. It's a role within the collective that you can offer and take and help others to see. So I think everybody has the ability, but it's about how much you want it. If you're not focused on it, because that's just not what your life is about, you won't have the sight. But if you are focused in terms of, you don't even have to be conscious of it. It could be in your subconscious, to be somebody of pure intent that you want to help humanity spiritually develop, then those tools within yourself will start to activate. They'll start to come more to your realization. So I do believe that some of us are born, like I was born with the sight, and some of us gain it and activate it later on. So it's just about where, what role you play on Earth and what's part of your unique essence, I guess. Cynthia Moore, the 144 is when Sanat Kumara came to Earth to bring back the God source, or the awaken the light within us. I think, like I said, it's not about the numbers. We don't want to say that there's 144,000 volunteers only. That limits people in the state of mind of spiritual development. If you say only 144,000 volunteers, it might make other humans realize that they're not special or that they're not chosen. So Pleiadians are interested in spiritual equality because that is what gets people to actually truly reach a point of spiritual development and growth. So that is not something that I would say is really important to focus on, because when you think about numbers, they're definite in terms of, so you're choosing 144,000 people or souls, but yet we are in a world of 7 billion. And I made a video about that very early on, because I received that message that that's actually part of the Bible. And it was something that the rabbis, or it was very early in the Bible, and it was denoted to the male priests that would be chosen to, I guess, be witness to humanity and be chosen by God. And that's the sectarianism, that's the division of religion that the Pleiadians are trying to remove humanity from in order to reach a spiritual development of equality. Dylan, definitely have to tune yourself to whatever group you're contacting, because their light is so strong it blinds people. Absolutely, it does. It blinds me, and it also moves me to tears, as you all saw. It raises blood pressure. I remember when I met a reptilian, I couldn't stand for a day. Wow. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in contact with reptilians, but I do have some information about them in terms of, the Pleiadians and the reptilians have not gotten along, and there has been a very murky past between them. But we are in a time of coming together. So although there are maybe some reptilians that might not ever join into unity and love with the Pleiadians, I know deep inside that there are reptilians that probably do want to join with the Pleiadians in the unity and love. So I do see that. But yes, it does. It raises the blood pressure, and for me, because everything is about vibrations and energy, I actually feel, the energy coursing through. And so that's what you have to be ready. You have to be prepared to meet them and be prepared for a heart opening. I had another heart chakra opening live for you right there, because my heart chakra for a couple days, it's been a little bit closed just because of what I've observed in the world. And I've been personally, I have been experiencing some attacks from others. And so my heart chakra was a little bit closed off, trying to protect myself and not really giving out love as much as I have the capacity to do. So the Pleiadians right then, they made my heart chakra just, that's what actually made me tear up. That's the type of happy tears that come. It's a bursting open of the heart chakra. Soldier of Vanity. No doubt you are very religious, but I concentrate on black metal and cosplay to use them for fantasy decor and artisan. The spirituality is nice to cling on to, but I'm not religious. I don't belong to any religion. This is actually spirituality I'm talking about. I'm a universalist in terms of I can see the truth in all religions. I can see the messages of the higher self within religions in terms of maybe their messengers or whatever's inside of their books. But It's not all truth. It's not all the truth. And the sectarianism of religion, the division of sects, is what I'm not about. And that's also part of the Pleiadian mission as well. I'm not religious. I am spiritual. Stephen. Dang. Well, I hope that's a good dang. Lavender Wolf, they have portals in caves you can enter that will allow you to see glimpses. I'm sure if I ever went a little bit more cave exploring, I definitely would be able to meet with them. Absolutely. And many of us could, but I wouldn't go to seek for them because many ways they would be kind of like the elves and fairies. They might not come out for everybody. Dylan, what government won't say is your blood tells you who you're mixed with? Possibly. And I think that might start, we're not ready yet to incorporate the ideas of different star heritages just yet, because we already have racism about color. So can you imagine the racism against entire species of star heritages? I mean, my gosh, it would just be another level and a layer to racism that we just don't want. So we need to have more of a sense of spiritual unity and get rid of the thoughts of racism within people. And then that will allow that type of knowledge to come forward about our different star heritages, I do believe. Lavender Wolf, it's one reason they have borders and identification cards now. Makes it hard for them to enter society and assume a role. Mm-hmm. I can see that because, they have to be kind of under the radar, but many of them, I think, do live like normal citizens, but they do keep hidden very well. And if you read the book The Elves from Canada by what is his name, Joel Schumacher, I think that's what his name is. It's not Schumacher, I'm sorry, but I'll put it down in the comments if you are really interested, or in the description. The Elves from Canada, How the Pleiadians Taught Me to Live, Love, and Laugh Again. It's a Kindle book that you can download for $5, and it is about him meeting a secret community of Pleiadians in the Canadian woods, and they will help people that come to them for herbs and medicine because they're very nature-based. So that's basically how he met them, is that he was looking for an antidote to cancer for his mother. And so he was directed to the hidden community in order to help him through, the series of experiences that he went through. It's a really interesting book once you learn that it is a actual true experience that he had. Soldier of Vanity. Humans are so fantastic, but subjectivity created some very strange looping of religion. I think the story is more true than reality. Reality lets me down and is the fate that the earth was effed for. Yeah. Oh, I do agree. I mean, the nature of subjectivity is really kind of what we're growing out of. We're trying to, the future of humanity in the most positive, highest potential of being wiser beings that represent this particular species would have more of an objective type of reality, and they would be able to see from all different perspectives. But right now, many humans only take their own subjective perspective, and then that is what causes the racism and the division between each other, because they're not looking into the eyes of another soul. They're not putting themselves in another shoe. And when you do that, the more and more you do that, the more and more you expand your own consciousness and your perspective, because at the 11th dimension, you are already all containing those perspectives. But it's about realizing it and awakening to it. We're in a story of unfoldment, really, watching ourselves unfold the reality of our true selves. And so, yeah, we are moving out of that subjectivity, and I truly hope, and that is one of the reasons why I too feel, sometimes like I don't want to be part of Earth, because I do come from a very objective point of view. In many ways, I don't have just my own subjective experience. I'm experiencing many different experiences at the same time. Like an example, when I get haters or people that want to leave negative comments, or just people who talk badly about them, what I will experience is their pain, not only what they have done to me, but the pain that they must be in order to be that way towards me, and to hold different perspectives. That's an empath, and that is sometimes really challenging to do, because sometimes humans don't show that side of themselves, but it is capable. There's a capability within all of us. Let's see. Rain, the Pleiadians are bringing teachings of awareness, awakening, and love. Absolutely. That's the spiritual development of humanity. That is their prime focus. And they have just played that part and that role within the collective with other aliens as well, or other versions of humanity. But the Pleiadians have just been more in direct communication, because they're a little bit younger in terms of they're closer to humans, so they can help humans, but they are moving on and they're graduating. And in order for them to graduate, it's also part of their duty and obligation from their soul, because they love us so much. And it's part of their expanding further into the galaxy, where they can become light beings and no longer in the physical. They must help humanity as well, because they have to do with you. They have to do with us, as they said to Billy. People from the Pleiadians, Dylan, people from the Pleiadians seeded indigenous peoples, mainly Australia, Hawaii, those areas, but they traveled everywhere. So having shared DNA as a family, we share the same family. Yes, exactly. They have been all over. They did not just congregate within one area. But yep, you definitely said the truth there. Let's see. Here's a question. Why do you think Europe was hell set on destroying my tribes? Oh, are you a Native American? That would be interesting to know, Dylan. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Like there are definitely times within history that the truth has been tried to be covered, that the spiritual development of humanity has been repressed or oppressed, in terms of they don't want. There is a group, there's a collective mind that does not want to see humanity develop. But that's because they offer that resistance, that spiritual resistance for our growth. So in some way, they are servicing the light, even though they work in the darkness and are very dark themselves in terms of their state of consciousness and awareness. They would not hug you or be in unity or be in love with you at all. They would see you as something separate from them. They hate humans. They despise humans. They think they're a virus on Earth. That is absolutely what they believe. And so there is that type of energy, and they have repressed human spiritual development because it keeps them in control of humans. Humans can be very easily controlled if they're not spiritually awakened. But if they're spiritually awakened, no one can control you. I mean, you can affect people through their technology. I get affected through my technology. I get affected through psychic attacks. But my spirit and my soul has reached a level of knowing within myself that no matter what they do to me, nothing can truly harm me, in a spiritual sense. And that's where all of us, can get to. And I'm going to teach that more and more, because it's also a power that the elves had too, in many ways. And I want to bring that forward on the Elven Light University. And this is maybe a message to us in order to how to protect ourselves, how to get to that place where we can no longer be taken advantage of, and we start to control the destiny of our planet. And I do believe that. ZV, maintain your calm within a core trust of a plan of divine design. Nothing has been overlooked, all is known, choices have been made, and the lines of allegiance are becoming redrawn and strengthened. Beautiful. Namaste. Mm-hmm. The coming of light will indeed scatter the shadows until the world repatriates the exiles of love. You who fight for truth will see its vindication. Victory is ours. I agree. Dylan, it's crazy what triggers those synapses. It is. And I have to tell you, I'm helping myself. I'm actually, I did smoke a little weed right now because before I did this video, I really wanted to open myself up in a way. So it's completely legal here in my state. Yay. But yes, I mean, there's not much of a difference between me. I'm just a little bit more connected to the energy because nature, using tools of nature as psychedelics or as drugs in that way, they can help you actually see past the material world, and you get in touch with the spiritual, the one that connects us all through the universal laws of the universe that are observed in nature, as the Pleiadians talked about. So my synapses have been firing off and reconnecting, and that's why I was able to, really be open to give this message. ZV, but first the necessary things must happen. Be firm in your resolve and as one in your love for the world, where it's undergoing a great transformation. I love that. Do you have a YouTube channel? You should start one. Together, be humbled in the face of what you do, for truly it is massive and important for words beyond your own. You're full of very much powerful love. I'm happy that you are here, ZV. Thank you. Dylan, love doesn't mean love and light, by the way. Light is illumination of the self. Light is everything in the universe. We are all white light. So it is the true self is light. Love is the force that connects us all. It's gravity. It pulls all souls together. So it does mean love and light, but love is the force that enables us in order to connect once again, bring our fragmented souls into connection and unity once again. So love is the force, but light is the illumination of the true self. Queen of Red, I was told twice I was a Zeta human hybrid child, but I'm a little afraid to contact the Zetas since I'm not a channeler. The Zetas are a difficult species to work with. They are, they see humanity not in such a favorable light, but at the same time, they are trying to help humanity too. So the challenge with them would be they don't respond emotionally. It's not like the Pleiadians where they can read the heart of a person or the intent of a person. But the Zetas might be more interested in preserving humanity. And so if you can reach them maybe on a less emotional level, you might be able to contact them. Yeah, you might have to do some more research on them to get in tune with their energy. But many of the Greys do, they do kind of represent a negative aspect of humanity as well as a positive, but in terms of developing to a way where they're homogenous and they're so technically driven that they are not emotional and they don't care about what they do to others. They just take people and abduct them in the middle of the night and do whatever they want, in terms of not a slow type of spiritual teaching, but they're more interested in like the technical aspects of evolution. So they might be more interested in DNA activation and all that. They're also trying to make their species survive more too. So it is a little bit more of a complicated situation with them. I would just go within, Go within, trust yourself, trust your own path, and that you will receive more messages, I believe. Dylan, can you let love go, or is it a form of possession if you don't understand love? Love is gravity, so in some way we can't let love go, but it's a force that is all around us, and it pulls us together, it pulls souls together. It is the force that brings everything together again. So letting love go, you can mentally, because if you realize that something is not love, that you are not supposed to be connected with that soul, and that's just, the universe will just pull you apart, so you can let go of love. And if you let go mentally, and if love comes back to you, it's much like gravity. You're just drawn back to each other once again, just as we are held safely on this planet, spinning around in space as gravity does. Blue Sinclair, yes, we are watched. Glad to not feel so alone. Yes, we are. We absolutely are. But they're not going to save us from ourselves. They're assisting us, and they're happy to be here, and there's so much love coming from them. It really is. ZV, be wise and aware, times are coming that will test your resilience. Oh, yes, you can definitely feel, as the light side gets stronger and stronger, the balance is that the darkness will, feel that. They experience that too. So then they will get stronger on their side. So as the light side is forming their little army, the dark side is forming their army. And one day there will be a clash or a type of realization, and then bring in an equilibrium where it will be both dark and light, no judgment of each other, no hate towards each other, but that there will be actual spiritual truth and recognition of each other, and unity with one another. And I really do believe that. But we are in some times, you're going to feel the dark side trying to grasp for control. They know that people are awakening. They know that, and they're trying to, they represent the part of the universe wanting to keep everyone asleep, to keep a particular dream going until it is time, in order to truly awaken and change over and basically enter a new dimension. Soldier of Vanity. My main faith is getting you artisan, classic printed books with people enjoying to set letters and spiritual books, and library and equally artisan beauty, opposing mainstream computerized dumb printing. It's a great effort. That would be nice. We do have a lot of spiritual books, but I think we need everybody to speak from their heart and to really, get these messages out, because one by one, we change over everything. ZV, this will be intense, but short-lived. Then you will have new and exciting challenges and a great opportunity to redefine yourself collectively. Don't lose hope. Above all, you are far from alone. Absolutely. That's the same message I get. Dylan, I think the Pleiadians are mixed with the Naga Nova Man. I don't know. The Naga, are you talking about the, are you like a snake-like type of creature? It's usually what a Naga is, I think, in mythical terms. I'm not familiar. Yeah, Pleiadians are actually, their ancestors are the Lyrans, feline-like beings, also aquatic beings. So the Syrians represent more the aquatic beings, and then you have the Pleiadians who are more humanoid, and they all kind of stem, that's mainly their ancestors. Now, before the Lyrans, the ancestors were like the Arcturians, so you can go down the list of galaxies and constellations, and you can start to see the ancestry. They might not be all connected, but actually developed on their own too, as their own special, unique type of species as well. But spiritually, on a very fundamental level of a quantum field, everything is all connected. Rain says, we are always connected to our galactic family. Yes, we are. Absolutely. And if you remember that, then you will never really truly feel alone. Like, you can have no friends on earth in terms of maybe people that you surround yourself with don't understand you, or maybe you just don't have the opportunity to meet others that think like you. Just know that there are beings that appreciate you, that can honor your mind, can honor who you are as a soul. And the Pleiadians can, if your intention is pure. Now, they have a negative outlook on humans who refuse to grow up. There is a distaste for them, and you can tell in the tone of Samyase. But at the same time, there is love, because ultimately it's a tough love. It's a form of tough love to kind of kick those other souls into shape a little bit. Sometimes souls have to be motivated for growth, but it happens on their own individually with their own types of choices that they make within their lives. I just hope that every single soul awakens to see how truly precious they are, so that they stop hurting others because they feel such a lack of love, and realize that they are the love itself. Soldier of Vanity, want to work on a speech with me and get some theater in your stage with a cathedra and a large banner perhaps in the forest, and call all elves to an elven city sometime? Maybe. Well, email me in my about section. I have my email address, elvenlightpath@hotmail.com, and we will talk more. Dylan, Wi-Fi is messing up the cosmic energy coming in. It is definitely. It comes and goes in waves. Like, sometimes you just can't get online, or there's issues, it kicks you out, and then other times you're fine. Right now, I'm fine. Last live video I did, it cut me off. It was very strange. So you just have to go with the flow. You just have to smile with all of this interruption, I guess, and keep on going. Soldier of Vanity, well, let's build Rivendell. We need architecture to please. We need architecture too. Please contact me. We'll talk about it. Okay, leave your information for me or contact me. And I want to see some type of elven type realm, something really beautiful, nature inspired and connected, for all souls to remember themselves and their higher selves. I really want that on Earth, and I want to help build a foundation for that. So anybody who wants to partner with us in our organization of the Tia El de Lieva, this Elven Spiritual Path, then absolutely reach us. Cynthia Moore, they're interested as in the oneness, and we all are the same, that this is illusion, and now it's time for us to move away from suffering, lack, and separation to abundance of unconditional love, peace, and unity. Yes, wisely said. Thank you. Namaste, Cynthia. That's beautiful. And that's exactly what it is. Abundance for us is abundance for them. And that is a type of experience of love that's what the universe is. So it's pretty humbling when you get in touch with that. Dylan, in the matrices, the Luciferians didn't want oneness because they thought it was AI, but these energies have been around dormant for years. Yeah, it's definitely something that is moving, but there is a little bit of a battle for consciousness. So just don't be pulled into fear. Don't be pulled into thinking that this is it and this world is a prison. You have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in the spirit of yourself and the spirit of others that can get through this. Mainly yourself, though, so that you can motivate others around you. Lavender Wolf, I have seen them in pastel rainbow light, levitating above a desert environment, backdropped against a bright white light and blue sky. Yeah, when I get visions of them, they're surrounded by iridescent light. So that's similar kind of pastel. They definitely represent that. And not all of Pleiadians, but maybe the particular ones that you and I are connected to we definitely can see their true form. And that will be their light body form when they truly disappear from the physical experience of the universe and step into a whole new experience with us. Soldier of Vanity, my light are my secrets, though. Lavender Wolf, Lilith said this morning she just wants everyone to enjoy their physical experience here. So you're channeling Lilith? Yeah, it's truly just about connecting to, basically, if you understand the energy that you are tapping into and you embrace that within you and you allow yourself to be a messenger for that energy. And if the intent, here's the thing, if the intent is pure and it's focused on helping others, you'll have more of that help to succeed. If your intent is not to help others, you might be able to get your message across, but people will start to see through it and the truth will be revealed. You cannot keep the truth down for very long. As the Buddha said, what was that quote? That three things always come to surface: the sun, the moon, and the truth. Cynthia Moore, this is so true, and you're definitely on the right track. Thank you. Namaste, Cynthia. Dylan, ask your body to let you contact whatever group. Then the next step, believe in what you're doing and be specific. Yes, you have to contain it and get ready in your body. And maybe that's why I don't eat before I do videos, because I'm trying to have that open space for all that energy and not be filled with material, food in me. It's a very bodily experience as well as a mental experience and a soul experience. It's the Trinity aspect in that regards. It's that balance of the mind, body, and soul. So let's see if there's any questions. I just want to make sure if anybody wanted to know more about the process, this would be great. Soldier of Vanity, hard to admit, but even I'm finding it a little quirky, your stance. I'm actually crying one little tear. Yeah, I am a little eccentric. It's how I was made. Isn't it the crazy ones who do something different for the world, though? I mean, I'm not crazy. I'm very sane, very aware in what I'm doing, but I'm glad that it can help you shed a tear, because that means that your heart chakra is being opened. At this point, it's just kind of rushing open like a flower. And that's what makes this happy tear. Let's see. Rain, we love you. I love you too. I do. I love everyone. I do. And sometimes it's hard for me to express it, but I do. And I'm happy that you're here with me. Dylan, this community was the first step I pictured Gelflings. I like that. Yeah. I love the Gelflings of the Dark Crystal, but they were taken advantage of by the Skeksis. So, I mean, it is kind of a representative of where they needed to evolve too. So the resistance of the Gelflings is actually the spiritual evolution of them too. And that's also what humans are going through, the resistance of the humans in terms of not allowing base emotions to pull them into tempting them to, act a certain way, and also to not follow false ideas of governments and religion and other types of organizations that want to oppress the spiritual growth and act as actors of that. It's about liberating ourselves so that we can move into our own spiritual evolution like the Gelflings did. Yeah, The Dark Crystal is a very true movie. And I have the video for you if ever want to take a look. It's the Mirror of Reality. It's on my playlist, Mirrors of Reality, where I look at movies that symbolize something truthful within, society. I mean, everything is a mirror, but some things are blatant truths that are more apparent and more important, that have to do with the collective evolving and growing. And so I like to point out the movies that do that. And A Dark Crystal is one of them. Let's see. Soldier of Vanity, but look for elves cosplay, night women cosplay, Egypt cosplay, but they are not serious. But I get decors for all of them, real architecture. Yes, cosplay, what that does is it physically it's the very first step of embracing the vibration of elvenness. It's like it gets you, when you dress up costume, it can get you in the frame of mind of that character, and you are calling that vibration within yourself to harness that vibration, and then you project that image. But it is only the very first step. Cosplay is the base step of the material intellect of elves, but the spiritual intellect, the spiritual wisdom of elves is going to have to take a little bit more soul seeking. And the idea of the decor and the architecture is also part of the physical world, but then you start to live amongst it. So it's like the next step. It's like step 2 to get to that elven mentality and consciousness of being the wisest beings of Arda. So it's all steps, it's layers, until one day humans wake up and they just realize that they have the full potential of the elves and what they represent within Tolkien's stories, and that's how they act. And they become close to immortal beings, and they are immortal, but they experience themselves as immortal, possibly, if they want to evolve to that way. Let's see more here. Roxanne, I have perhaps 20 years left in this incarnation. I want to see the awakening and the reunion before I go, for my son and granddaughter and you all who will remain to use it. Beautiful, Roxanne. I want that too. And I know that we are not alone. So namaste, my sister. I see you. I know you want this, and I want this too. And I believe we will have that, but we have to push. We have to push through messages. We have to push through ideas and concepts, because that's the catalyst of change, right? It's communication, it's connection. So I'm so happy that you're part of this, and you're going to be one of the Elven spiritual teachers in a way where you can help us maybe grow the organization. So I'm glad we are on the same page there. I knew that before, but it's nice to hear that comment. So, Soldier of Vanity, skyscrapers are expanding. Yes. So I watched Minority Report with Tom Cruise the other day, and I saw it in a whole new light. And if you pay attention to the future world that they live in, and you see all of their buildings, it's really interesting when you look at the architecture of Minority Report, because that shows kind of maybe the potential. And what I gathered from the movie, I learned more about it, is that Steven Spielberg actually consulted real scientists and those that can help kind of formulate more of a logical way that technology would actually help our cities grow to. So when you watch the Minority Report, understand that the vision of the future world comes from professionals and those that actually really focus on the development of technology and what that means. And, the idea of pre-crime, to determine a crime before it happens, that definitely does answer, that raises questions for free will. But there's a nice aspect to it that that we could get to the point where we could have so many perspectives that would allow us to travel back into the past. But the question is, do we want to? Because it's all part of the experience, and that's what the movie really addresses. Maybe I'll do a video on that, on mirrors of reality. But pay attention to the way that the world looks. It's kind of interesting. I would like to see more nature. I'd like to see more of a naturalism take place, but I think the technology is there where you could see where we're heading. And then Soldier of Vanity, I Made You Cry. Well, I hope it was happy tears. We shared them together. More Winded. Even after my choice to be here and being reincarnated, I have known at a young age. Why am I talking with my mouth? I chose to be here on Earth, and I'm meant to be here, but I've awoken up and I'm not ready, though, to reach back out. That is completely fine. More Winded, it is about your own personal journey, and there is no race. That is the most beautiful truth. There is no race. It's just about how much you want to push yourself, what you're willing to experience. And if you're just not ready yet to reach back out into the world, that's absolutely fine. That's fine. You just need to love yourself from that place and accept that. But I will keep going because you have a part 2 down here somewhere. So we'll continue that. Dylan, why do you think we don't help depression? Because those empaths are the true healers, the real strong ones, but we were broken early in life and have to put ourselves back together. Yes, it's true. I mean, that's the thing, is like, are psychologists and psychiatrists, are they truly empaths? The future would probably be more if it evolved into a spiritual type of galactic world, in terms where humans were really, all humans were fully aware of their spiritual state and nature, then mental health, all of that would look so different, that it would not be governed by pharmaceuticals or professionals that just went to school and wanted to help people. It's a little bit deeper, a next level, where it would be professionals that have awakened or remembered their ability as an empath and want to stop the suffering of everybody that they can. And it's entering into a whole new experience of mental health awareness. And I do believe that that is a future. We just have to get to the point where we help people stop pretending, stop playing. That's the word I want to use. There are so many souls in this world that pretend that things work when they really don't, because they only grace the surface of the problem, but they actually don't really get into the depth of it. And if we really stop pretending collectively, that's when we truly all awaken. It's about pretending, isn't it? Pretending to be asleep, pretending to not see what's in front of us. More Winden, you have a second part, so I will say this here. Yet I have some learning and growing to do, yet until I can contact them, it might even be years from now, I will be there in day, and it's why I'm here with you guys now. It's sort of the path. Namaste, More Winden. I'm happy you're here with us. And when you are ready, they will be there, and let's say this, okay? Just hypothetically, say you put this off and, it's your time to leave Earth and something happens to you and you transition. Because your focus of what you just said right now, the awareness of the consciousness state of mind that you're in, you will incarnate into a life that will put you on the same path, in the same starting point that you left off at. Because you are so aware of where you are going, but maybe something happens, but it probably won't. But I'm just saying, hypothetically, that's how consciousness works. There is no rush. Everything always continues. There's no race. Enjoy. Enjoy the journey. The destination is the twilight sleep. And the twilight sleep is when things are not in creation any longer. So we just have to enjoy this creation. Let's see some more questions here. Cynthia, the Divine Mother Earth energy is strong. This is a new beginning, and it's about Mother Earth moving to 5D and rule. It's changing higher consciousness, rebirth, and it's time to graduation. It must be a balance. Absolutely. I agree. We are aligning with Earth, because if you look at animals, if you look at nature, the way that plants respond to the sun, the way that the animals work, and together the ecosystems work, the truth of the nature is that Earth is already there. You know, Earth is already in the 5th dimension. It's just her beings have to see it. They have to open their eyes and experience it. I said she, but Earth is a neutral force, but you could see it as how you want to. Cynthia Moore, we are all on different timelines that we play this role. Exactly. There are many roles, and the eyes of the great are elsewhere, right? Many small hands do the roles of basically the great. The many small hands do the roles of the prime source consciousness. If the universe ultimately wants to expand and cultivate life, then all of us have roles within that experience. Soldier of Vanity, I get sad that this seems actually what subjects want, unless you consider they were fed this subject philosophy in fiction. I'm having a hard time understanding. Actually, what subjects want? Are you talking about people as subjects, or subjects that we learn in school? If you can expand on that, I can expand on that too. Soldier of Vanity, also would love you to talk to my psychiatrist. Psychiatrists might think I'm a little off, depending on what state of consciousness they're in. But yeah, it would be, I've always wanted to help people. I mean, psychiatry or psychology would be something that I would have studied rather than education, because I have a passion for psychology, but with a lens of spiritual development. So I believe that psychology can incorporate spiritual development, and that's really where we can really help the souls wake up and get out of their own personal nightmares that they experience through trauma and traumatic events that happen to them, or just simply the way that their mind thinks, or the perspective that they find themselves in at a time, and they can't really get out of it. We all help each other, so that's why we always seek others to help us. We need each other. That's a big reason why long ago native groups fought one another. Pleiadians seeds versus dragon seeds. Dylan, you're getting into some deep things here, but yes. There's lots of wars between degenerate humanoids that represent a species that regressed in their spiritual development and may have been more reptilian-like, like the dinosaurs. If you think about the alternate reality of the dinosaurs that evolved into humans. Now think about that. If you had the way that dinosaurs are carnivorous, meat eaters, they don't care about anything, they just want to survive. And then if they evolved into human-like beings, think about that type of mentality. There are ways that they can reach a sense of spirituality, but there is there is a hindrance there because they have to get through and past that reptilian mindset of the carnivorous, I want to eat you, to take over that territory, that conquering, dominating style. And many humans have that within them. They want to eat others, figuratively speaking, because they want to dominate them. They want to control. And it has to do with just being in the darkness of their own spirituality. Truly, beings that are spiritually awakened do not want to harm others. And that's just how it is. Because the ultimate truth of the universe is to know that we are all working together. Dylan, subjects, dude, my ancestors have been saying this for thousands of years before it was a fad. Oh, I hope you talk more with him and figure this out. Yes, very good. It might have been 144,000 back then, but they may have just referred to that particular religion, billions now. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that number is definitely something that can limit us in a world today. But maybe back then that was something that they thought, but it is something that is really attached to the Bible. And the Pleiadians are interested in kind of getting rid of in the idea of having a separate type of religion to lead people, but it's more of an open sense of spirituality of universal truths and laws within the universe. Dylan, who seeded the Latino race? Aryan and indigenous, blue avian, and serpent, the hybrid. Yeah, I mean, there could be many. I think that the Pleiadians had kind of a help within all different races, but there is more of a concentration of reptilian DNA actually within the Caucasian, and that's for a very kind of a deeper reason. But you have to look at kind of the three particular first early humans and then see, the Caucasian, and where that came from. And now the Caucasian also includes Middle Eastern, includes the Hebrews, it includes a big amount of Europe. I mean, all of Europe, basically. So there's a lot of indications that we are all a mix of all of these. And it's like the idea of the white wolf and the black wolf in terms of the fear and the love. What wolf do you feed? So what part of your ancestry and your DNA that you activate within yourself, it determines what part of mind that awakens within you. There is the triune brain that represents the reptilian brain, the mammalian brain, and the neocortex. So whatever you kind of activate within yourself by those synapses activating and connecting, and the way that you focus in your life on what's important to you, what are your intentions, what are your goals. These are all things that determine what star heritage we really are. So there's no such thing as the past in terms of actual physical reality. It's hard to talk about. Maybe I will more. The Pleiadians help to explain it a little bit more in the contact reports, which is nicely laid out, although it's hard to sometimes understand Samyase. But the idea of that there's no such thing. Oh, I just did it in my other video I just left, the one on Pleiadians on the creation. There is only the present. There is only truly the present. And when human beings awaken to themselves spiritually, they realize that there's only actually the present, that this is really all that exists, that the past was just a backstory for your present motivations, and the future is a potentiality of energy, of manifestation, but it all is within the present. So whatever you focus on within your present, You bring that forward within your star heritages of the past. And that's truly what I believe what we're seeing is like a difference in the way that some humans act. They are representing more of the carnivorous type of, conquering nature of maybe the reptilians, and the Pleiadians are being represented in those that are empaths, more sensitive, more loving and caring, and other star races, of course, they're represented too. But what your life is like right now determines your star heritage. Dylan, God, I remember when God looked like a dog and could talk, but your ancestors didn't pass down those stories, did they? It's funny you say that, Dylan. I look into my dog's eyes and I see the universe. I see the messages of love. And that's the amazing thing about dogs, and cats too. But dogs and cats have the ability to actually produce the chemical reaction of love within the human brain. And absolutely, those messages are embedded within animals. And if humans listen to animals more on a real heart-to-heart spiritual level and not just see them completely just for food and just for conquering and taking over their land, and actually listen to them, listen to the wisdom of the animals around them. This is something that the Native Americans knew. And this is why they have moved on, in many ways, that they have evolved into light beings. I mean, many of the Native American souls in the past that lived so close to nature and other earth-based civilizations on Earth, they have evolved into light beings already. They are off this earth because they long gone died, but they are experiencing themselves in a much higher vibrational form, and they are part of the Pleiades. And the Hopi in particular said that they knew that their original home was the Pleiades. So they knew that one day they would go back. It's truly a remarkable thing when you think about it. And when you get in touch with the Native American teachings about animals and nature, you start to get a look at the universal laws that really apply to all of us. And it is a shame that they have become a minority or have been just kind of pushed out. It truly is. But I believe that it was their time to go and to move forwards, move on. And they are not really gone because it's all part of us. We're all together in this. We just have to remember that. But those of you who do remain from the Native American culture, it's important that you pass on, because you could be the remaining, teachings that could be passed down. Soldier of Vanity, yes. But by push back at them, you should read my lines and spiritualize them. Perhaps I'm an anti-troll. You pushed back at the Pleiadians? Oh, I see. I'm sorry. Let me read this for everybody. Soldier of Vanity said, I just considered you have religious feelings. Me too. But as a philosopher, I have to take into account 200 years of subjectivity, philosophy, and pacifism into account. I'm not saying, oh, yes, I pushed back at them. You should read my lines and spiritualize them. Perhaps I'm an anti-troll. I see what you mean. You're saying that I'm as devout as a religious person in terms of my spirituality, like almost like a zealot or a fanatic. Maybe in one respect, but my religion would be definitely nature and more of an open sense of universalism of truth that's contained within the universe, which is not a particular religion. But I think that's what you're trying to say, that I seem almost like fanatical the way that I am, because I am on a mission to help humanity. And so I do take this very seriously. And I know I'm not the only one. And so it's, it's something that I hope to partner up with others that do take this seriously. And that's why I'm doing this video. Okay, so Cynthia, I'm not saying that it's only 144,000 is chosen. That was the term, that's where the term came from, when Sanat Kumara came after the fall of Lemuria, but we are all chosen, we just are on different timelines. Okay. So Sunat Kumaria, is that connected to the Jewish rabbis, the priestcraft that basically had hands in, or connection to hands of writing Genesis, because that's when 144,000 verse appears. I would love to know that connection. It'd be interesting to know. Bog Goblin, my Gavanin, I am interested. What do you know the difference to be between Fae and Elven beings? Thank you. So I have a video on that. There is a little bit of a difference in vibration frequency, but it's not much. To Tolkien, and I believe this to be really true, fairies themselves were older than the elves, and you get that within the Lost Tales. So you get that within the writings that are not in the stories, but they're in his notes. So it's what he was thinking, and somehow he didn't include it. But there are little hints about it, because the Hobbit Frodo comes from a line of Belinda Took, who also was said to be half fae. So the fairies themselves are older than the elves. They are truly elemental souls, light beings. They flit around everywhere, and they contain many different energies. And the elves are a little bit more humanoid, or at least his elves were. And there are other types of elves, but Tolkien really channeled more of the humanoid elves that are less like the Germanic elves of like the little beings that run around in the forest. But there are many different types of elves. And so possibly, hopefully that helps you understand. So fairies themselves is the general term, which elves are part of, but it's an ancient idea of elemental beings that existed before the humanoid form. And the humanoid form is more the elven form in terms of how they behave, how they act, how they make a civilization. But their laws and their rules might be very similar. A little bit different, maybe in terms of the free-spiritedness of fairies, and maybe the elves are a little bit held more to some of their more rigid beliefs that stem from their community. But that's very much like how the humans are too, in a lot of ways. I have a video on the difference between elves and fairies that might help you. The elves that I work with and kind of have channeled within myself too, the elves can be actually older than fairies in terms of maturity or energy, in terms of consistency, of vibration and frequency, whereas fairy nature, if you look at those on Earth who say, I'm a fairy, there's a reason why their energy is a little bit different than maybe an elven being, because there's a difference in vibration, and it has a lot to do with the type of movement of energy that's contained within the beings. So fairies tend to spike up and down, and they have to vibrate very, very high, and elven beings kind of have a little bit more of a steady type of energy. It's a little bit more consistent. And you could see that in those who are humanoids on Earth right now, who are awakening to their elven and fairy heritage. Like when I channel the Pleiadians, they have a very, Samyase, she even has like almost like a very stoic type of mannerism, and not saying that some fairies don't, but there are fairies that are all over the place energetically, and they're fun and they're full of light, but they are all over the place. And Elves are a little bit more maybe serious. There's an intensity there of their energy, and it's about maybe their focus. That's the ones that Tolkien talked about. That's the ones that I resonate with. That's the ones that, I feel most connected to. That was a very long answer to your question, and that's why maybe some people, when they channel the Pleiadians, that they remind them of the High Elves, because they're a very noble group of humanoid beings, and they have evolved to that place where they're very noble, and they carry themselves in that way, very gracefully, but noble and intelligent in the way that they have evolved themselves, where they don't hurt others, and they understand the interconnection, and they would want to even help humans. GBT, Palat, my personal diary. Cannabis is like a hug from Mother Nature. It is. It's like a nice way of opening up your receptors and just receiving information that maybe you can't tap into when you're not able to connect those synapses on your own. But there are ways to do it on your own. You could use the singing bowls like I have. That's why I did that in the very beginning. You could do it through forms of meditation. You could do it through many different ways, but I've never done this before. I never smoked cannabis before I did a video, but I thought it would be different because this was a different video. This was one that was very open. This for me is like a new beginning. And I don't know if you can feel that, but many people have been wondering about first contact. And I felt that this is time where many people are going to experience first contact, but it might not be in the way that they think. Just like in the movie Contact, the actual contacting of aliens was not aliens coming in ships and coming to Earth and saying, hello, here we are. It was them. Well, here's the thing. Ellie was looking for some kind of sign from life, intelligent life in the universe. So she heard a signal coming from the direction of Vega, because she listens to satellites, and she works in that department of NASA. So when she finally meets the Vegans, it's because in their signal, they were giving a type of mathematical code in order to create a machine that would allow her to travel to Vega and meet them. That is how they contact. It's very small steps. And in the movie, they say that. She's like, well, how next can we see you? Or what's the next step? And he's like, this is just small steps. And this is just how it's been done for billions of years. And I think I'm going to end this video with that. This is just very small steps. And there's so much more contact and communication coming. You just have to keep the faith, keep the hope, believe that you are an important part of this. Even if you don't decide to do a YouTube channel, even if you don't decide to write a book, or you don't decide to be a spiritual teacher, it's about who you touch in your life. It's about the souls that come into your sphere of influence. Look at your friends and look at all that you meet on the streets or, wherever in your life, and understand that you have an opportunity to help awaken them. And if each one of us look at all those souls that we can help and influence, we can help awaken everyone together. And it's just small steps, as the movie said. So watch the movie and enjoy it, looking at it from a new perspective, maybe, in terms of it reflecting the true nature of things. And Carl Sagan knew what he was talking about. He knew that eventually we would come to this time in humanity where we would reach contact with higher dimensional beings that are connected to us in a very deep, profound way. And I hope that you all enjoyed this. I am going to do a part 2. So if you have questions, leave them down below. I know that there might be some more comments and things so we can have another chat. But the next time I get this energetic impulse from them that it's time, to reach out to others, to kind of organize people in a way where get them more in contact with them. This is the first small step. Whoever wants to communicate with the Pleiadians right now, this is your chance to. This is your time. So I will do a part 2 when we get more information and I feel like a need for another part to this. But I wish you all the very best. Thank you so much for hanging out with me and eating berries and tea. And I will see you all on the next video. I'm not sure what's going to come next, but we shall see, right? All right. Well, blessings to all. And let me end as they do in the Buddhist temples, right? To close off the meditation services. All right. Take care, everyone.